Hello, everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 214. I'm back-ish. So, um, I was very happy, very thankful, a couple weeks early to be thankful for anything. We can only be thankful at one day out of the year, but I was thankful early in the month of November that my PC decided to die, but it decided to wait until after the Extra Life Charity Marathon and after I finished my Middle Aged Man Watches Gem and the Hologram series. So, hello, Matthew. So, on the Saturday the 7th, we did the charity marathon, raised over $2,000, and that was amazing. And then that subsequent week was, for those of you who don't know, for the last 7.5 months, I've been twice a week posting video reviews or reaction videos to each episode of Gem and the Holograms, starting with episode 1 and going all the way to episode 65. So that week, immediately following the charity event, was episodes 64 and 65, the penultimate and final episode of the series. So those went out on Monday and Thursday, and then on Friday I did my favorite songs of season 3 video, and then on Saturday my PC died. I think my hard drives are fine. My guess it's either the board or the power supply. I don't get the sense that the drives are. I have one external drive, which is fine. My internal drive, I need to borrow a dock from someone because I don't have one to. I have to rip it out of my tower and get a dock cradle thing, thing to plug it into so I can actually slave it to another PC and make sure its contents are fine. So I don't think I've lost anything other than time and money. Luckily, I have people who support me on Patreon, so that's going to definitely help in purchasing a new PC, which, as a few people in the chat have been asking, I have not purchased yet, but I have selected all of the parts I want for a new PC. I just haven't purchased it yet because I'm thinking maybe wait till Black Friday, Cyber Monday, see if I can get any of the components a little bit cheaper. Every little bit helps. Do you know that Microsoft is still charging a solid $200 for its damn operating system? Yeah. 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 It kind of sucks. Oh well. Matthew says, isn't your PC like 8 years old? Yes. I bought the PC that died a couple of weeks ago. I bought in August of 2012. So it was slightly over 8 years old, but it was a nice PC. And it served me well until it stopped. So, yes, it was about time to buy a new PC anyway, but now is not really a great time for non-essential expenditures. But well, I mean, yeah, technically non-essential, I suppose. But tis what it is, and my lovely patrons are going to definitely take the sting out of the purchase of a new PC. So Matthew says, I mean, 8 years, it's time. Yeah, I mean, that thing is, when I point over here, that's where my decommissioned computer tower is sitting on the floor, with its guts out. It was a Windows 7, which is no longer supported. So, I mean, it's so old the operating system is no longer supported. So what are the parts? I decided to. The last one was an Intel. This one I'm going for an AMD processor. Uh, the last two computers I've had since I've been buying, I've only ever had two personal computers. The first one I bought in college back in. No, three. I bought one in college in '98. Probably would have been '98. Um, Maybe '99. I don't know. So yeah, '98. That sounds right. Then I bought a new one in probably 2006, 5, 6, and then the 2012 and this one. Maybe I've had, I don't know. But I think I've always had Intel processors. So this one I'm going for an AMD. So that should be interesting. Jared said, yes, Ryzen. Jared says specifically um, Ryzen 5 2600, 3.4 gigahertz, 6 core. It's about $150. Uh, so, most expensive component right now is the damn power supply, which was actually like $70 cheaper a couple of days ago. But it's like that sucker went out of stock everywhere. So the only place I see it right now is on Amazon. Someone's selling it on Amazon for like $220, and I really don't want to pay over $200 for a power supply. So that one I'm definitely gonna, because I can get that for um like $130, $140 buying it on Best Buy or Newegg or somewhere. Um, but they're out of stock everywhere. So I'm gonna have to wait a little while. I'm definitely going to. Jared says got an NVMe. Yeah. It's let's see. Which one did I grab here? Where's my hard drive? Yeah, it's a Samsung. It's an NVMe solid state, 1 terabyte. So that should be nice. Because with that computer, I would turn it on and then I'd go do something else while it booted up. With more modern PCs and solid state drives, that's they turn on really fast, so that's nice. Matthew says I assume 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah. Okay. I'll go through all of it since you guys seem really interested. Okay. So CPU, the AMD Ryzen 5 2600. Um, uh, let's see. The storage, I already said the 1 terabyte. It's a Samsung. Video cards, the Radeon RX 5500. And yeah, 16 gigs of RAM. Figured that's enough. So computer parts have been short supply since the start of the pandemic. People have been going ham on high-end hardware. A lot to RTX 280s being used for Excel and Word. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. It might. I'm hoping. So it's probably looking like my new PC isn't going to be here, and also it depends on. I have to source all the parts, and then they have to actually get here. Um, and my luck, everything will get here in a couple of days, except one piece, which will take like 6 weeks to get here or something. But if all goes absolutely perfectly, hopefully I'll be back up and running in early December. But you never know. This seems to be working, so um, I can at least live stream a podcast. I can't stream any games on my work box because I really shouldn't be installing stuff on my work equipment. Um, Granted, I installed the driver for my camera, um, yeah, but technically that's okay because I could use that for my various meetings, but I'm not getting dressed from a meeting, so I'm not turning on a camera. Forget it. I should cut my hair. It's getting a little long. Um, Jared says it took 3 months to get my GPU. Oh crap. Yeah. So yeah, looking at a little over $1,000 in a computer crap. Oh, also I probably won't do this now, but I really would like to get a new a captured. I'd like to get an actual capture card. I use a capture device, an external one that's over there. It's very important that you know where my capture device is in relation to me. It's over there, and it's old. I think it's the same device I've been using since like 2008 or something. I mean, it's a Hop Hog or so a what, HAPAUGGE or some weird thing like HAUPPAUGE. Yeah, it works, but oh goodness, did I? Huh, I have the floor mat has cracked under my delicate frame. That's that makes me feel self-conscious. Um, so I'm looking at the Elgato between the oh God, what is it? There's a 1080 version and then there's a 4K version, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to get the um, a next gen console at some point. So maybe I want to invest in the 4K one, but it's still really expensive. It's like over $200, and I can, if the regular one's like 150. So, but the nice thing about it is they are integrated boards instead of an external device, which means that it should have such low latency that I don't have to put an artificial delay on my audio and video to get the camera stream and the game footage to sync up when I stream console games. So, for example, when you were watching the Extra Life charity event, I was playing all Switch games, and so when the footage and audio from my Switch comes into my PC, uh, it's on about a 1500 millisecond delay. So I had to put a 1500 millisecond delay on my web camera and audio so that it would more closely match. So that would be less of a problem. Also, that thing is so old that the streaming software I use, OBS, does not. I have to do a screen capture of the footage um, rather than it actually pulling in the audio and video from the device itself. So that would be nice. So, you know, and I just, I just bought a car because my car died in July. So, been kind of an expensive year. I did not use the Patreon money for the car, but I am going to use the Patreon money to help me buy a new PC because the new PC is going to help me make videos. So I figure that's fair trade. Uh, yeah, I do need a new one. It's just that you know the stuff I have does work well enough that I can justify not getting new. Um, so, but now it doesn't work, or at least the hop hog or whatever the hell, however that's pronounced. At least Elgato is, and it's called Elgato. Why wouldn't you want a capture device called Elgato? At least it's not El Perro, because that's hard to say because I can't roll my R's. Matthew says, that's why it's a good idea to have a set schedule for replacing hardware so everything doesn't happen all at once like this. You're not wrong. So, so that's where I am on the PC front. So I think we'll be able to, at the very least, stream the podcast every week until I get a new PC and I can start doing the game stream again and start doing some YouTube videos. I'm thinking about actually recording a debut review tonight. Of course, I can't edit the video until I get a new PC, but at least I'll have the footage. Also, I actually have a debut review in the can, edited and ready to go. It's just on the hard drive in the PC that doesn't work, so can't really do anything with it. All right, so them's my PC woes. Whoa. So hopefully I'll be able to source these parts on if I maybe find a deal on a couple of them on Black Friday, Cyber Tuesday, Monday, maybe we'll see. Talentless Nana, if I'm looking for a good anime. Well, I'll write that down. I've not heard of that. So, Talentless Nana. Okay. Well, let me switch around. If we're going to talk about anime, let me switch around my topics here. I did earlier this week watch a new-ish anime called Iwakakeru, which is a sports anime about a high school bouldering, well, not bouldering specifically, but a rock climbing team. Chaos just watched the final 26 episodes of Inuyasha. Wow, that's been going for, how many episodes of Inuyasha are there? That's one of them that's way up into it's like at least in the 200s, I think. It's got a lot, right? Let me know how many episodes are 150-ish. Okay, yeah, that long series. I saw some of Inuyasha back closer to when it first came out, and I thought it was okay. I was never really hooked by it, so it was one of those. I watched a couple episodes and I was like, it's all right, but I wasn't really grabbed by it, so I never watched all of it. But anyway, I checked out a new show called Iwakakeru, which again, as I mentioned, is a sports anime covering a high school team of rock climbers, and it's okay so far. I've watched 3 episodes. Not sure if I'll watch any more because I like the fact that anime keeps doing the sports anime genre keeps covering sports or competitions that you might not think of. For example, a couple of years ago there was a sports anime about a quiz competition. It's called like the fastest finger first or something like that, and that was pretty good. So this one's rock. I mean, you have baseball, you have soccer, you have all kinds of stuff. But then you had that one, which was, I forget what it was called, but it was about. You remember that mini game in Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball where you stand on the floaty thing in the pool and you bump each other's butts, and you stand back to back and you bump butts until someone falls off. They made a sports anime of that. And it's it is definitely worth watching the first episode. I was satisfied with the first episode. I was like, I don't need to watch any more of this. But the first episode, it's so damn funny because it goes. like full Dragon Ball with the butt attacks, and with the flashing scrolling backgrounds and calling out the name of the specific butt attack. It's it's pretty funny. It certainly did not hold my interest for however long that series is, 12 episodes, 26 episodes, whatever, but I forget what it's called too, but I would definitely recommend checking out the first episode because it's really funny, just because it's so silly. Um, Kuroko no Basket. Uh, I don't think I know that one. I mean, there's also other ones like it's Hajime no Ippo, but what's the American name of that? It's a boxing anime. It's actually really good. Um, it's like Fighting Fist or Fighting Spirit or some kind of lame name that they gave the English. Anyway, that's a good one. Um, anyway, Iwakakeru is. I feel so far, at least, it's held back by the fact that, at least in my very humble opinion, none of the characters are particularly interesting. None of the characters are bad. Just none of them are really that interesting. Like I can't remember any of. I think one's name is June. I can't remember their names. They don't really. You have the protagonist who's completely new to rock climbing, and then you have the one who's kind of quiet and serious and sullen, and then you have the other two. You know, the other two. One's the team captain, and the other's the other one. And it's been 3 episodes, and I'm not really getting a sense of who these characters are, even from like a pat archetypal standpoint. They're just kind of there. Um, but I can't think of any other rock climbing anime or any shows about rock climbing. And I like rock climbing. I wish I could do it more, but it's super expensive. If you've never been to a rock climbing gym, unless you have absolutely no interest, I'd recommend if you can get it. Well, I mean, not right now, obviously, but uh, if you can get a group of friends together and get on a Groupon or something and go to a rock climbing gym, it's a lot of fun. I recommend it. Um, And I like the way that the show depicts rock climbing. It's got a very energetic and dynamic way of depicting the sport, which is really interesting. I do enjoy the fact that they are a lot of times really trying to draw the characters with um, specifically athletic, muscular builds. Sometimes it doesn't work, like the one character I mentioned, who's kind of the quiet, sullen, serious one. I think they're trying to render a very, very low body fat, very lean, very lithe body type, but she just looks emaciated. I don't think that's what they're going for. I think they're going for, just a very, very low body fat, athletic build. But the way she's often drawn, she just looks sick, you know? I'm also trying to figure out their outfits. They're wearing most of the times they're wearing shorts and crop tops, but they've got this like purple. Their midriffs are painted purple, and at first I thought it was an animation coloring mistake, and then I went, "Ah, you colored her stomach wrong, haha." But no, I think that's on purpose. I don't know what that is. I Because it's not always there. Is it like a mesh or nylon undergarment? I'm just not sure what it is. Um, I thought maybe I'm out of touch. I looked up some sports climbing equipment, but I couldn't find anything that looks like that. I've seen plenty of leggings that have mesh panels along the side. They're mainly decorative, but they can also promote, you know, air circulation and breathing. they're mostly decorative. But yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about. But it's a unique show, or at least I mean, it's very predictable. I mean, you can probably it's a sports anime. You can plot out where it's going, but it's about rock climbing. And how many shows do you have about rock climbing? I can't think of any. Um, One thing that I was a little hesitant about is the protagonist of the show is like supernaturally gifted at rock climbing. Like she takes to rock climbing like a fish to water. And at first I was like, is this kind of be like in K-On, which is kind of a sports anime for rock bands, where you have a group of kids in high school get together to form a band, and one of them does not know how to play the guitar, and they go on a retreat, and just through the power of will, she super saiyans into knowing how to play guitar. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. Stopped watching. um, but um, they frame it as she's a gamer. So she has a very analytical puzzle solve, and specifically puzzle games. So she looks at routes on a climbing wall as a puzzle to figure out. Also, she did ballet, so she's naturally flexible. Um, but she does pick stuff up really, really fast. In the So she's like, "What club should I go? Ooh, rock climbing. That looks neat." They're like, "Hey, welcome aboard. We've got a competition tomorrow, and the second episode is the competition." It's like, yeah, it's a little fast, but overall, not too bad. Um, Not sure I'll stick with that one, but that's one thing I like about anime. A lot of it is exactly what you're expecting it to be. I mean, there's so many just kids in high school and relationship dramas. That's a good chunk of them right there. But if you keep looking, uh, oftentimes you will, and I do mean that very often, there will be a couple shows each season. I mean, all you have to do is just watch Crunchyroll by itself. Just look at the new slate of shows on Crunchyroll. Like they have like 20 to 30 new shows every single season, and you could be sure that probably 3 of them at least will be something new and interesting and unique. Might not be any good, but it's going to be, oh, that's an interesting idea. Let's check that out. So that's one of the things I like about anime is a lot of it is very samey, but a lot of it will do something unique and take chances too. And when you're old and picky like I am, I'm 40. Uh, that's nice to see. Let's see. I've been ignoring the chat, so let's see. Do, 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 do. Matthew says the short description I will give as a pitch for talentless Nana is Among Us, the anime with superpowers. Hmm. Interesting. I saw a trailer for one that looked kind of interesting. That looked like a battle royale or Hunger Games or the Purge kind of a thing, but it was like on the tops of buildings, which was kind of weird. I forget what that's called, but saw a trailer for it. So, Fighting Spirited was the boxing anime. Says lyrically, see. Okay, thank you. Um, Jared says character design is the main attraction to an anime for me. That's a valid reason. I'd say that character design is rarely something that will draw me in, but I can say that design is sometimes something that will put me off, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh my god, uh, there are very few anime that I look at and go, nope, it's just too ugly. Um, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I didn't like the first episode, but I've talked about this before. Did a debut review, um, but yeah, the art style was not helping. uh, and Lindy says 40's not old. I think. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I'm. It's middle aged, unless I get hit by a truck or a meteor or something. Yeah, I'm just I'm poking fun at my middle aginess. Uh, Akudama Drive. It's cyberpunk heist show. That sounds interesting. Cyberpunk heist. I like heist stuff. Criterion, the Criterion Channel, one of the streaming services, they had a sometime in the last year or two. I was sitting there going, I could really go for a heist movie right now, and like that day or something, in my email from the Criterion channel says, "Here's our new stuff. We got a bunch of new heist movies." I was like, "Oh." And then I watched The Italian Job, the original one. I'm like, wow, that's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But I got to watch a bunch of heist movies. So anyway, Akudama Drive. Okay. Uh, Moriarty the Patriot. One Piece. One Piece is like 700 episodes. I don't. No. I did see the first episode of One Piece way back in golly, like 2000 or something. I went to a local comic shop when I was in Arizona. Had basically an anime day where they just showed like the first episode of a bunch of anime just all day. So I went, just hung out and watched a bunch of new stuff, and I think that's where I saw the first. That was my first exposure to Urusei Yatsura, which you can tell I liked because I've got all of it. Um, so there's the show, and that continues down on the second shelf. And I think these are the movies and the OVAs. Um, Love Hina, which was probably that. Which, if you've never seen a harem anime before, it's, you'll probably think it's pretty funny. But if you've been watching anime for decades, you've seen it. There are much better harem animes than Love Hina. Hunter x Hunter, um, Fruits Basket, um, and One Piece. And yeah, One Piece. I'm not really fond of the character design for One Piece in the first episode. Didn't sell me. Kind of. Yeah, I'm certainly not saying the show's bad. I mean, I certainly would not judge a 700 episode show, or however long that damn thing is, by its first episode. Oh, something, I didn't see it at this anime day at the comic shop, but something that kind of surprised me was Detective Conan. Um, the first episode is, it's kind of dark. Um, it's about, the main premise of Detective Conan is it's a young man who's a great detective, and he gets trapped in the body of a 8-year-old or something like that. And the rest of the series, all 400 episodes or whatever it is him and his friends, solving mysteries. And the first mystery that he solves is someone gets decapitated on a roller coaster. It's like, oh my god, that was a little dark for a kid show. Jeez, seriously, someone like stretches fishing line across the track and someone gets beheaded. It's pretty gnarly. I really don't like the design of that show too, especially some of the hairstyles. Like there's this one kid who has hair like that, and it's like, why? What's with that design? But the mystery elements weren't terrible, so what was I talking about? All right, so Moriarty the Patriot is a take on Professor Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes as the main character. Interesting. That's an interesting question, Matthew. What's the first anime you recognized as an anime? For Matthew, it was Pokemon. I would say retroactively, it was the second Urusei Yatsura movie, Beautiful Dreamer. Um, I saw that. I saw that movie before I knew what anime was. I guess technically it would probably be something closer to like Robotech or Speed Racer, but that's boring. So let's go with this. Um, I had seen the Beautiful Dreamer movie, or at least I saw like the last half of it on TV, and didn't know what to think of it because that's a weird movie even by Urusei Yatsura standards. Um, but I didn't know what to think of it, but I was really intrigued by it. Years went by, and I learned about what anime was, and I said I'm going to check out this anime thing. So I went to Blockbuster and I rented two anime movies. I'll get to that in a minute, and that's what started off in my anime journey. And it was several years later when I think I was introduced to the Urusei Yatsura series, and they went, that movie that I saw years back, that's based on this show. That was an anime. I saw anime way before I thought I saw anime. Although I'm sure I saw, again, Robotech and stuff like that back in the 80s. But I consider the first shows I ever watched were those two movies that I rented from Blockbuster Video back in the 90s somewhere. I rented Ghost in the Shell and Ninja Scroll. Back when I was a teenager in the 90s, the local video store had a shelf for anime. Not an anime section like you might find today if video stores still existed. So, years ago. Or if you go into into Best Buy or something, there's aisles of anime, right? Back when I was a teenager, you go to Blockbuster Video, there was there was an animation section and there was a shelf for anime, and on that shelf was always Ninja Scroll, uh, Ghost in the Shell, Demon City Shinjuku. Um, what else was always there? They always had like 12 titles, period. But anyway, I got Ghost in the Shell and the Ninja Scroll. Watched Ghost in the Shell, and um, I didn't. Motorcycles should have mufflers. I have spoken. Um, I thought it was visually gorgeous, but I I thought the movie was only okay. I was like, it's pretty neat. Gorgeous as hell, but as a movie, eh. Then I watched Ninja Scroll, and that's one of my damn favorites. I love Ninja Scroll. Oh man, I was like, okay, I am in. This is amazing. And shortly thereafter, I caught up on. Oh, Akira. There's another one that was always on the shelf. Demon City Shinjuku. I saw, of course. That's okay. Um, Akira. I saw, and it's another one that I was more impressed with visually than I was with the actual. It's decent, but I'm not. I was never bowled over by it. I liked it just fine, but yeah. Let's see. Lyrically C would like to hear my opinion on the anime My Love Story. I My Love Story, huh? It's not ringing any bells. Let me see if I can look that up real quick. See if if I've heard of that. I saw Dragon Quest My Story. Oh wait, I'm seeing the manga. I think I know what this is. Let me see the anime. Anime, not the manga. Pictures. I need pictures. Yeah. I saw the first episode of this. I thought it was okay. I guess I wasn't bowled over by it because I didn't continue watching it, but I remember thinking it was all right. Yeah, it's about a really big dude who has a crush on a regular sized gal. So yeah, it's been a while since I watched this. I don't really have anything specific to say about it, but Matthew says factoid of his media sells over 50% of the comics in the U.S. Manga makes up over 50% of all U.S. comic book sales. Yeah, U.S. comic sales are not, they're not doing very well. Uh, Tenchi Muyo. Yeah, I saw one. I don't know which series it was, but I did see one of the episodes at that anime day at the um, comic shop was Tenchi Muyo episode. That was funny. Um, I think there's a couple Tenchi Muyo movies. Um, I'm sure I think Ranma Half was one of them too. I think I mentioned Fruits Basket. Um, yeah, yeah. So actually, I heard recently that they're doing another season of the Never Ending Story. What the hell's it called? It's a the kids in the like were trapped in an orphanage and some of them grow up and then they get adopted, but I think people are like eating them so they escape and the anime uh just kind of ends after 12 episodes. I'm like, Promised Neverland. Thank you, Lindy. Yes, that one. I really that was I think recommended by someone in the chat at some time, and I checked it out, and yeah, I really quite like that one. I was like, oh, it's a shame it just stops. But apparently season two is coming out this year, so a never ending story. Yeah, Promised Neverland is what it's called. Did I do a debut review for that one? Let me look. I'm wondering. Uh, Neverland. I did. Yeah. And I remember kind of kicking myself in the butt for not immediately figuring out what was going on by looking closely at the poster, because the poster is the kids standing on a clock face with the hands of the clock, a fork and a knife. It's not subtle at all, and I totally missed it. And I remember after watching the episode, looking back at the poster and going, "Oops, yeah, should have caught on to that one." Uh, Matthew says, still amazed in retrospect Cartoon Network was able to air Tenchi Muyo on afternoon TV. Wouldn't consider it family friendly. Yeah, I I never watched any. I always rented DVDs. I had Netflix back in like 2000, back when it was only mailing you DVDs, back before streaming, right? So that's primarily where I got my anime fix. Uh, I really didn't get into anime until about 2000 when I was 20. Um, because prior to that, there just wasn't much anime to be had unless you imported stuff. Like I had mentioned, Blockbuster only had like one shelf. Your choices were Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, Demon City Shinjuku, and a couple others. Um, and that was about it, unless you wanted to go special ordering stuff. But throughout the early 2000s, the selection started to grow and grow. And man, in the beginning, I just devoured everything because it was all so new to me. Now, 20 years later, I've seen a lot of anime. A lot of it's behind me. Kimagure Orange Road. Um, so I'm a lot pickier these days because I've seen a lot of anime. So um, anime has to be particularly good or be doing something particularly unique to hold my interest these days. But that's the same with anything. I mean, same thing with the movies or books or music or gaming. Uh, the older you get and the more you consume, the more discerning your taste becomes, and just regular um, four quadrant, really broad, uh, nice stereotypical examples of whatever medium you're talking about can still be interesting and satisfying if you just want to veg out for a bit, but probably not something I'm going to keep up with. Let's see. Original Dragon Ball. Oh, yeah, I've never been a Dragon Ball fan or Dragon Ball Z. I actually, it's funny. An old friend of mine from work who I used to work with. I like you can't. It's too. It's down there on the shelf. But a show I am quite fond of is called Yu Yu Hakusho, which I've always described as Dragon Ball Z, except it doesn't suck by every conceivable metric, which is funny because I find, generally speaking, that you either really like Dragon Ball Z and don't particularly care for Yu Yu Hakusho, or you really like Yu Yu Hakusho and you don't particularly care for Dragon Ball Z. I'm sure they exist, but I've yet to meet an anime fan who loves them both. I know people who don't care for who've seen both and don't care for either of them, but I don't know anyone who really likes both of those shows. Um, I've seen a fair amount of Dragon Ball Z, and I've never been impressed by it. I've seen very little of Dragon Ball, but I've seen a fair amount of Z, and I just don't like it. I don't think it's good at all. Certainly nothing against anyone who does like it. My friend Brian and I, we do rag on each other all the time about our tastes in that genre of anime, but Kaganeka-sama loves them both. There you go. There you go. Chaos loves Dragon Ball and Yu Yu. Okay. They do exist. Have I seen FLCL? I have. I do have that. Yeah, that one's going to be uh, like on this shelf here. So yeah, I definitely have that one. Really like it. Yeah, I remember thinking, wow, I'm glad this is only 6 episodes because I don't think this would have worked for 7 or longer. In fact, they may have wanted to stop at 5. It starts getting okay. You're starting to run your course at about 5, but no, I really do like FLCL. Um, oh, and Chaos Points that points out it's completely insane, which it is, and it's only 6 episodes. Yeah. Um, let me see. I'm looking in a reverse. So this is it's not. I keep thinking Devil May Cry, but it's not Devil May Cry. It's the female version of Devil Man. I think it's Devil Lady. The hell is it? Yeah, I think it's Devil Lady. Um, what is I can't. This down here looks like it's a red box. I can't really see what it is. It reminds me of kind of what Record of Lotus War looks like, which is something else I really quite like because Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, I like it, but I can't see what that is. I'm curious now. I got to see what that is. Hang on. Got to decouple. What is that? Oh God. It's Elfin Lead. Yeah, yeah. That's that's one I that's one I enjoyed too. um, yeah. That boy, I don't want to spoil anything. How can I talk about this without completely spoiling it for anyone who hasn't seen it? Um, It does something in the first episode that I didn't expect. And I'll leave it at that. Yeah, like first, I don't know, first half of the episode, something happens. I was like, huh. I'll be honest, I did not see that coming. Well done, show. Well done indeed. Matthew says Dragon Ball, the non Z version, is more Journey to the West. Yeah, yeah. Um, I've not watched enough of it to. I think I've probably only seen like one full episode of the original Dragon Ball. I don't know if it was the first episode. Probably just one from the center somewhere. Um, but yeah, let's see what else can I see. That's Batman the animated series. I'm pretty sure that is. Well, no, that's Justice League. That's not Batman. But I do have Batman would be over at the B's. All the stuff behind me is in alphabetical order, except I do make a couple exceptions to keep series in the same place. For example, Crest of the Stars and Banner of the Stars are in the same place, and Banner of the Stars is sitting after Crest because chronologically that's where it comes, if I'm remembering that correctly. So, and what else do I have? Ooh, Transformers. Um, the original the 80s cartoon Transformers. Um, where is it? Ghostbusters. I think that's Gantz. Escaflowne. I think this is the movie and this is the TV show. Um, Escaflowne is really good. I remember really quite liking that. Um, Haruhi Suzumiya. Am I remembering that correctly? The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. I wasn't particularly bowled over by that one, nor my Hime, nor I think this is Seven Samurai. Man, there's one episode, at least one episode in here that they must have completely ran out of time because it's like episode 7 or something like that, where the animation quality just plummets through the floor. It's so weird. Um, let's see what else. It's like, hey, let's see. I think was that Kino's Journey. I think. What's that one? That's Gene Rowe is somewhere in there. Really like that movie. Um, I had actual topics, but no, we're just talking about all the crap I have on my shelves. Um, so yeah. Uh, so you might say, Andrew, do you like anime? And I'd say, I like good anime. And I'll admit, not all the anime I have is particularly good. But in the early 2000s, after college, I was working and living with my grandmother. And my student loans were deferred at the time because I couldn't get a job. Because I graduated college in 2001, spring of 2001, right when the economy collapsed and no one was hiring anybody. So my degree was not very useful. Because a couple of years later, when the economy started recovering, they started hiring back all the people they fired in the first place. And then by the time they started hiring again, well, my skill set was like out of date. So my career path did not proceed on the trajectory I had envisioned, but that's okay. I'm doing all right. But anyway, so after college, I was living with my grandmother, who I could have lived with for free, but I'm like, I was only giving her like $100 a month and she'd lived in the house was paid for. I was giving her $100 a month for groceries and stuff. Um, so I was working full time. My student loans were deferred. I had very few expenses. So at the very beginning of the decade, I had some disposable income, and that was when I was first. So I bought a lot of anime. This was also back when Deep Discount DVD was a thing, which was a site that did exactly what it said it does. It sold DVDs at deep discounts, and once a year or twice a year, or something, at least annually, they would have a super sale where they would deeply discount their already pretty good discounts. And so I would spend like $300 on, every year I'd spend like, $300 getting like 35 different DVDs and shows and stuff. You'd get this gigantic box of stuff. Oh, it's so much fun. So I was happy to just try out things. Also, sites like Right Stuff would often have really steep discounts on box sets of it, which is why you see a lot of box sets. Like Animego usually did their own, but so that's an Animego one. But I think I got all the Urutse Yatsura from. Is that Animego? I don't know. But then I moved to California, which is a lot more expensive place to live, um, and was buying my own food and renting my own place and had a job. So that cut into my free time and my disposable income. So um, I'd say my collection of DVDs, if you charted its growth, it would be like do. It just very very steep and then flattened out at the top. Um, but tis what it is. So what else do I have to talk about? Oh, and that's why Iwakakeru is okay. So I finally finished Gun Gun Pixies, which is a game I bought for the Extra Life charity event last year. And man, that game could have been good, I think. It's kind of like etchy chibi robo. And to me, that sounds amazing. So if you've never played Chibi Robo, I highly recommend the GameCube game. It's really, really good. You play a couple inch tall robot that wanders around a house, interacts with like the toys that come to life at night and the little alien eggs that are running all over the place because it's a weird game. And you end up through your machinations trying to solve the individual problems of the family and make them happy, because it's actually a fairly dark game. Like the parents are the dad's sleeping on the couch because the parents are like on the outs. They're contemplating divorce. The little girl is depressed. The dog is having problems. But you're a little robot, and you're gonna, through the power of cuteness and spreading happiness, you're gonna make things great. In Gun Gun Pixies, it's kind of a similar setup, except you play a couple inch tall pixie with a gun. Uh, and what you do is you solve the various issues of the residents of an all girls dorm by shooting them in the butt with happy bullets, which is the solution to every problem. Cosmic Kiryu punches all his problems. The Gun Gun Pixies shoot him in the butt with happy bullets. And it's like, that sounds kind of amazing, right? Navigating these, you're a couple inches tall, so you're navigating these, trying to platform your way through these giant environments to get in the position to shoot girls in their thong-clad buns to make them get over whatever problems they're having. That sounds hilarious. And premise-wise, it is, but the game sucks. Mainly because its controls are horrendous. I mean, everything about the controls in the game is just terrible. Um, the camera is bad, the movement is bad, the shooting is bad, the jumping is terrible. Navigating around the environments is a nightmarishly frustrating chore. Um, Getting the camera to the camera either swings wildly so you can't aim, or it moves so slow that turning the camera around to look the other way takes 5 seconds. Um, So mechanically, the game is horrible, which is a shame. Also, narratively, the game is extraordinarily long-winded and boring. These characters, I don't speak Japanese. I know a little bit that I've picked up just by watching anime and stuff, but they are saying a lot more than the English translation would lead you to believe. Granted, with the way Japanese is written, you can fit a lot more crap into a single text box than you can English. Um, but they just yammer on and on about the same stuff over and over, and it's really, really boring. Um, Playing the game, I thought I I came to the conclusion that I base off of just gut feeling, which doesn't mean anything, but I get the sense that the developers were not incompetent. Like, the game doesn't control poorly because the developers are just bad at programming video games. I genuinely get the sense that they don't care. Like, it was a lack of passion in the project. That's the sense I get from playing and having completed the game. Um, because some lines aren't. Most of the dialogue is voiced. Some of it isn't. Um, and it's kind of random what isn't. Uh, the further you get into the game, the more typos there are in the dialogue. Um, so my sense is it was done really quickly, and they looked at it and they went, "Good enough, whatever." I don't get a sense of incompetence. I get a sense that no one cared enough to spend the time to tighten up the controls. They're like, it works, it's functional, ship it. Who cares? And that's a shame because I think it would take a lot of work, but I think the general premise of Gun Gun Pixies could have made a really goofy, fun game. Um, Maybe not a classic or anything, but I mean, come on, Etchy Chibi Robo. That sounds amazing to me. So, did I watch Trigun S Kaganeko Sama? Yes. Not all of it. Saw several episodes of it. Thought it was all right. Never was really interested in watching the entire thing, but I caught episodes here and there, and it was entertaining. That's the one with the Bash the Stampede, right? I'm thinking of the right show, right? If that's the show, if that's the right way, if that's the one I'm thinking of, the one with Bash. Okay, so that is the correct one. Yes, yes, I've seen several episodes of it. I thought it was all right. Um, I have seen Cowboy Bebop. I liked moments of Cowboy Bebop, but overall, I just really didn't like any of the characters. Like, the main Jet and Kevin. uh, it just didn't do much for me. And the action scenes were fun, but the characters didn't really do much for me. Um, Ed, I found annoying, and Faye, I found absolutely insufferable. And the fact that any of the other characters would give her the time of day kind of turned me off the characters and by association the show. Um, but I think I did see the entire show. Great music. Great music. Uh, it's inventive. It's got a lot of great imagination. I just never really connected with the characters um, in a way that had me happy to follow them on their journey. But I think I saw most all of the. I probably missed a couple episodes here and there, but I think I saw most of the series. Um, Faye's, great, but Faye's Chaos is Faye is supposed to be insufferable. That doesn't help. That doesn't help me. I get that's the intention, but I don't care. I mean, if everyone if the other characters ostracized her, just shunned her, and wouldn't have anything to do with her. But they keep getting steamrolled by her. It's like she broke her promise. She hung us out to dry for the eighth time. I'm like, yeah, guys, Spike. This one's on you, Jet and Spike. This is on you. That's on you, you dunce. Great music though. Well, it's getting late. I was going to talk about Mandalorian, but got 3 episodes to cover, so but we'll save that for next week when I'll have 4 episodes to cover, I guess. The only other thing I wanted to mention was the Game Awards. The nominations for the Game Awards were announced this week, and like I did last year, I total up the number of games, and I think there were like 73 different games amongst all the various categories. And I was just interested to see how many I had played, because I totaled it up last year, and I think it was like 2. I think there were 2 games I'd actually played. This year it's 0. I haven't played a single game nominated for a Game Award this year, which honestly is not too surprising because I've bought no new games this year. I don't think. Astral Chain was not nominated for anything, I don't think. I haven't started playing that yet, but yeah, all the games I've been playing this year on my Sunday stream have all been from a backlog. So I haven't bought any new games. So it's a combination of the fact that because of financial insecurity, I haven't purchased new games, but it's also with the new console generation coming, a lot of the games that came out this year, I'm like, there's probably going to be a better, more feature complete, probably cheaper edition on the next generation consoles sometime in the next year. So, much as I'd like to try, I'd love to play Doom Eternal. I know the some people didn't like it as well as the last one, but the remake of Resident Evil 3, Ghost of Tsushima, bunch of games, Last of Us 2, a lot of games that came out this year that I'd really like to play. There's probably going to be cheaper complete editions coming out on the PS5 and Xbox Series X in 2021, so maybe I'll wait for those. So yeah. So okay, Talentless Nana, Akadama Drive, and My Love Story. No, My Love Story. I know what that is. But I'll see what those are, or I'll forget. But I do appreciate the recommendations. So we're going to call it here. I'm not going to be able to do game streaming or YouTube videos until I get my computer, and that's definitely not going to be until after Thanksgiving. And even then, it's like it kind of depends on how long the parts take to ship to me. So probably looking at early December at the earliest. But hey, this seems to work okay for live streaming. So if I have anything particularly urgent to say, I guess I can do this. But otherwise, we'll keep up the Molehill Mountain podcast on Saturday. So that'll be fun. And that's about all I have to say for tonight. So thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me. And I will see you next week. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.